What's up, weirdos? November 22nd, a Friday. Oh, let's do a Friday stream, huh? Let's get crazy. Let's get loose. Let's do a little bit of blow that we found in the back of the patrol car, shall we? Don't do it, but maybe. You don't know if it's carpet cleaner or if it's cocaine, but hey, we're here to blow out our nostrils. You ever see those like surgery, like LA surgery shows where like a woman will go in and her like just her nose is good. It's just fucking good. And the doctors are like, you know, there's two ways that that's happened. Is one, you're born with like some sort of deformation. And the other one's massive cocaine use where your nose collapses in on itself. And this one woman was like, well, I used to party a little bit. You're like, all right, well, you know, you're talking to your doctors. Maybe get off on the right foot by telling the truth. Blowing lines off of dudes' dicks in the bathroom. We're starting heavy. It's JFK Day? Is it really? That really blows my mind. You know what? I need to get like one of those buttons that has like an audience that goes wah or yay, you know, or wah wah, like all those different things. Truck Senpai. Always on time. Always here, Truck. That's right, Danny. It's time. Singry Streams time. Gang, I always go on the Instagrams and on Twitter and I post about it and I say, hey, what do we want to talk about today? And today's no different. How's the music feeling? Does it feel like a good Friday vibe right now? I got some background music, a little bit of beats, you know. How's it sounding? Sounding okay? I don't want to drown my beautiful voice out, but at the same time, I want to give you guys just the right amount of vibes. Oh, Elon might buy MSNBC. Well, he talked about it. I know he's got like oodles of money and he could buy Twitter for like, what is it, 44 billion? But does he have enough to buy MSNBC? I mean, you know, it's not going to be selling for 44 billion, but you know, a billion? Definitely. Let's Google that. You know what? Let's get started. Let's get sassy. I'm going to have myself a little bit of bread. Going to get a little sassy. How much is MSNBC worth? Let's check that out, shall we? How much is NBC? How much? MS. How much is MSNBC estimated at? Oh, now like my Google's just flooded. Yeah, Matt Gaetz stepping down. Oh, brother. That sucks. I wonder if he's getting like something else in the cabinet, right? Like this whole 17-year-old thing came out a while ago and he was like, they didn't continue the investigation. They were like, no, that's no good. Whatever. They dropped it. And like if somebody's not worth, here's the deal, right? There's two things that happen when the charges are dropped, right? You got an investigation and the charges are dropped. There's two things that happens. One, it didn't happen. There's not enough information, or they look at it and they go, oh no, this didn't happen. There's no way even close to us being able to like say that somebody did something negative. There's just nothing here. Like throw it away. This is worthless. Or they say, we think that something happened, but there's just not enough to prove it. There's not enough substantial evidence in order to go one way. So it's still a win for Matt. Like either there was absolutely nothing there or there was something there, but not enough for them to actually charge, which is the only worrying thing, right? What if it's the other one? Like what happened? Then what happened? But also I'm not surprised that, you know, he already went through this before. They already cleared it. And he probably just doesn't want all the shit to like pop back up. Oh, a UK viewer. Hello, handsome. Let's see how much MSNBC is worth. MSNBC estimated value. Do I miss the live shows yet? Yes, I do. I have a ridiculous amount of energy. And so while the guys were tired, I was out jumping around, talking to people outside and after the show and before the show. Yeah. How much does it cost? Telegraph is pulling up. Let's see. 10 billion. Recent months, he announced he was suing CBS for 10 billion, claiming its editing of 60 Minutes interview with Kamala Harris amounted to election interference. Interesting. I mean, that's, geez, like, what are we doing with these lawsuits? 24-hour. Okay. Yeah, but what is the estimated value of MSNBC? Right? That's what I want to know. Does anybody know? Yeah, Matt Gaetz definitely stepped down to keep the report from coming out. It was going to be bad regardless. You want to know something weird? Dude, I had to deal with something like this today, right? If 17 is the age of consent and he's 24 at the time, let's just say he's 24. Shit, let's say he's 30, right? If the age of consent is 17 and he's 30 years old, is it gross? Yeah, not a fan of that. Not a fan, right? Is it legal? If it's the age of consent, it is. So then what's the deal? You know what I mean? Is it like socially? Blech? Of course. Is it legally? Is it legal? Yeah. So then what's the point? Like, I don't understand. Of all the shit that people do, he did the legal thing, and then people are upset. Socially gross. If that happened. I don't know if it did or not. Socially gross if a 30-year-old hooks up with a 17-year-old. But then again, we're also looking at like the age differences between, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio and his like 21-year-old girlfriends. But they're 21, not 17. All right, there's a difference. It's 4 years, but it's a hell of a 4 years. Oh, you came out to San Diego. That's fantastic. How did I motivate you to open up a VR arcade? I don't do anything like that. Oh, it makes no sense. I'm still searching. Let me see. I gotta go. Let's see. Where's the news read? Bam, bam, bam. Let's see. Window capture. There we go. Shopping. I should go to shopping. How much is NBC? Joseph, what the fuck? Oh, my camera's a little low. Get up there, camera. See, Joe, you say you loved seeing us and the boys in Norfolk, and it was so much fun seeing you in my Captain America outfit. Go Bills Mafia. Go Bills, baby. Go Bills. Can't be telling everybody. There's still shows that are going on. It's a secret. Now I got to change it up. You goofballs are all posting about the thing that's supposed to be a live show. Only you guys get it. I mean, yeah, I guess it's good if you post about it so that people know how much fun it is when, you know, they miss out. But at the same time, you're giving up the goods, man. We're gonna have to figure out something else to do. Can't be saying, "Oh, this is great when you did this." I'm like, no. You're supposed to keep it a secret so the other people can know. Truck, you're gonna be in Atlanta? I'll know it's you. I'll smell you. I know you're Musk. I'm gonna have to bring you something, Truck, because you've been such a gem. I think you've given me like $1,000. You've been paying the hot tub bill, my brother. Like this whole year, don't have to worry about hot tub money. That electric bill is paid for because of you. I'm glad you like the Captain America outfit, though, Joe. I'm glad you liked that. Yeah, if you guys listen, I'm telling you guys, if you don't go to the live shows, you're missing out. He said some weird shit. We said some interesting stuff out there. It was a good time. It was a real good time. All right, let's see. I can't find how much MSNBC would be worth. Let me turn this music. Yeah, it's like bright and cheery, and I enjoy it. Let's do this. There we go. Boop, beep, boop, boop. A bit higher. Go. I've met you before. Well, you're definitely not a woman. I'll tell you that. None of our fans are women, especially mine. The unsubs, like, women following is like 1.5%, and I think mine is like 3, if that. AC and a hot tub party at AC's place. You got dang right. I'll tell you what, man. I just moved into a new house last year. I bought my adult home, my forever home, so I can make a family and babies and shit in it. And it's got an in-ground pool, which I absolutely love. It's like the best thing in the world. I'll work out in the morning, and then I'll jump in the pool during the summer, and it makes my life so much happier. Met you before. I'll see you again. Fucking weirdo. 69 billion, Paul. You're exactly right. How much is NBC's estimated value? I feel like that's not a difficult, like, how do we not have just an automatic, come on, Google. You know what? Maybe I can use Gronk. Here, Grok. Let's see. Where are you? Why pay to have X? Grok. No. So ask me anything. What is the estimated value of MSNBC News Network? Come on, Grok. Yes, it has been a discussion. Oh, it's valued at around $8 billion. So spin-off valuation. Comcast is reportedly considering spinning off MSNBC along with other cable networks into a new entity valued at around $8 billion. However, this figure encompasses not just MSNBC, but also other networks like CNBC, the USA Network, and others. Interesting. But like classic news and TV's dying, right? How do you bring that back? Can you bring it back? Is it worth saving? I guess if you do more with less, right? Like look at me. Look at this. Look at us. Look at us. Who'd have thought? Look at us. Who'd have thought, right? Just some dude chilling out in his office, live streaming with folks, and that's enough to get a couple hundred or sometimes 1,000 people to watch and bullshit and frig off. And then even when this is no longer live, people sit around and watch this shit. Then it's just you and me having a good time trying to figure out stuff that's going on in the world. It's like a conversation. Like this is not the most prestigious live streaming channel in the world. And this thing will still get like 10, 15, 14,000 views on a normal video. You know, if you get Fat Electrician on here, it's like 70 because the guy's like, I don't know why everybody loves him. He's obnoxious as shit. Thick and smelly. But anywho, besides the point, if YouTube channels and live streaming channels can garner literally 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times the amount of views that cable networks can get, how are you going to compete with that? You've got to do more with less money and pump out some quality shit. You've got to have some guy running around on like a $20,000 camera on a gimbal attached to his butthole and trying to do the best he can and start editing. Joe, you were the drunk Hulk that I picked for the offenders? You were in Norfolk, right? I got to remember Norfolk. I got to remember the Norfolk layout. Which one was that? Was that just the flat chairs? No, Norfolk was the balcony, the really cool balcony. Oh, that the beer exploded on. Donut, myself in Kentucky should do a donut news network on Pepperbox. It would be hilarious. Dan, we've been talking about it, actually. We've been talking about a potential DNN network for things that pop off. We're not sure how to make it work, though. We know it can work. What else are old people and dads going to watch in the morning if not TV news? You can watch TV news. It's just not TV anymore. It's just YouTube news. It's live streaming news. It's still TV. Still on the TVs. Except you can play it on your Alexa and your whatever you want. Let me tell you, the best investment I've ever made. I don't want to say the best investment I've ever made, but probably the best investment purchase I've made when it comes to entertainment is YouTube Premium. No ads. I watch everything that I want. Ooh, the best. I was sitting on my ass watching, commercial after commercial during a YouTube video that's 30 minutes long. And they're only like, 15, 30 seconds, which is awesome. Way better than, a normal TV show. Because, dude, the normal commercial breaks on television are like 5 minutes. Fuck that. Ew. Ew. But then once I got premium and I took all the, which removes all the ads, phenomenal. Does anybody refer to me as Dick? Yeah. Yeah. Couple people. Depends on how I know you. I have like this weird thing in my world, right? Where I share the same name as my father. So at different moments in my life, I know who you are, or I know when you came into my life by the name that you call me. Rich, Richard, Ricky, Rick, Dick, Hi, AC. There's different moments in my... What the fuck, truck? Yeah, you've been challenged by Drunk Hulk Joe. You guys are killing me. I'm gone for like 3 weeks, and now you're just like... You're showering me. Showering me in cash like a stripper. Do I golf? Yeah, hell yeah, I love golf. My handicap is like bad. It's very bad. It's very, very bad. I shoot like 100. But I go out to golf to have a good time. If I'm sober when I'm golfing, I'm actually okay. I'm pretty good. I had some really good shots. But I just can't string them together for a hole. If I can play bogey ball, if I can play +1 on each hole, that's a phenomenal round for me. But I always end up having like 1 or 2 holes where I double bogey it, or I quad, where I'm just, shanking something off into the woods, and then I got to take a drop, and then I shank that off into the woods, and I got to take another drop. Yes, YouTube Premium is absolutely worth it. Yeah, Truck and Joe over here are battling to be the number 1 fan. That is one hairy stripper. Oh, shit. That's right. We're talking about MSNBC. All right, speculation and public discussion. So we already talked about the spin-off valuation where it's got MSNBC, CNBC, USA Network, and others that are attached to it, right? And the estimated worth or value is $8 billion, which seems a little high. Then there's the speculation and public discussion where platforms like X about MSNBC's individual worth, and some values are ranging from as low as $300 million to $8 billion. So that's a pretty wide gap there. One perspective mentioned that MSNBC might be worth around $376 million, factoring a significant reduction in its intangible goodwill value due to a 53% drop in ratings since a certain point. Historical context: previously, when Comcast acquired what was then MSN and MSNBC.com in 2012, the valuation was significantly lower, indicating growth or changes in asset valuation over time. Interesting. Current conservative estimates say 300 to 500 million, which I'm not saying is a drop in the bucket to Elon, but if you can get a national news network for 300 million, I mean, you already bought Twitter, which is the #1 news network in the world. Why not have a classic sense of media? Plus, he's got to do some write-offs anyway, counted as a loss each year. That way he's not paying taxes out the ass. And then the optimistic estimate is if it's the broader Comcast spin-off plan, would be $8 billion bundled with other networks. But I'm sure that, you could piecemeal that shit off. Donuts Uber Frog. What's your opinion on the Defend the Guard Act, where Congress should have to make a declaration of war for a state's National Guard to be deployed in a foreign country? That's very interesting. Let's talk about that. So, Defend the Guard Act, where Congress would have to make a declaration of war for a state's National Guard to be deployed to a foreign country. I mean, it makes sense, right? If we go to the original definition, and intent for the National Guard, it's not to... Even in Vietnam, nobody was activated in the National Guard. Reserves were, because they're federal, right? That's the point. They are in reserve in order to assist the active component for when they deploy or go to some sort of, mission, whether it be peacekeeping, etc. Declaration of war. I like it. I like it. Because that way you can't rely on the National Guard in order to, swap in with active component troops in a war zone. Because it's not a war zone. Congress would have to vote on it. Which isn't that the fucking point? So that we stop going into, random wars. I kind of like it. Kind of like it. I mean, that would definitely, if you said that, hey, by the way, 50% of our fighting force, let's see, there's Guard, Reserve, and then there's active, right? But active and Reserve are both federal. So let's say 30 to 40% is National Guard of the armed forces, right? Almost half. So 30, let's say 40%. All right, I'm nitpicking numbers here, but we'll say 40%. If you can't take 40% of your fighting force with you and use them, like, that's a massive strategic capability that you can no longer utilize. Most intelligent sentence I've ever put together on this stream. So you'd have to think twice before you just start throwing the troops at a problem, right? You have to be a little bit more diplomatic at it. Or at least, think about other options besides boots on ground. That's very interesting. It's very interesting. Because the Guard's original, purpose was to stay home, defend the homeland. That's it. They're owned by the governor in the state. I forget when they became dual federal and state. I know they needed funding. You need funding in order to do that. Like, one of the reasons why state National Guards are so strong is not the word I'm looking for. Neither is abundant. I'll just say healthy, right? Because they're so healthy, well-trained, well-prepared, is because they get a lot of federal money in order to bolster their ranks. You take away that federal money, might have an issue. But then again, who's going to take away money from the state's National Guard, right? Federal money. As long as they're doing the right thing, I don't think any state representative, senator, congressman is going to say, yeah, we'll remove them from war, and we'll also remove their funding. No. Because as long as Congress says, yes, we're in a time of war, well then, yes, they're going to get activated. They're going to come up. They're going to want them to be ready. And then also, when they're not in a time of war, that state representative, congressman, etc., senator, isn't going to want their state's National Guard to be depleted and nothing. No, they're going to want some help for a natural disaster. They're also going to want those votes from military families. So I guarantee you they're still going to keep the funding going on to keep the National Guard as strong as it is, and reserves. Even though reserves are already federal. So, like I said, kind of a point there. Habitual line crossers live. What, him and I just like always go live at the same freaking times, don't we? Can't believe Truck and Joe are both battling out to give me the biggest super chats. Very impressive. You guys are been here for the long haul. You seriously need to not stream at the same time, HLC. It's, you know what it is? It's a battle. It's a battle. It's to see who's funnier, who's more entertaining, right? The new kid that makes funny jokes and voices with planes and pictures, or the OG that screams at a camera and makes up characters by just changing his hat or glasses. Elon's worth $355 billion as of yesterday, so $60 million would just be a few pennies to him. Wonder what that worth's based on. I know X was 44 billion, which, I mean, my God, the people that, was it Dorsey that sold that shit? Billionaire like that. Multi-billionaire, multi-billionaire, crazy. $355 billion, that's what he's worth? I mean, if it's to bring some sanity, bring moderates in. There's no moderate channel. There's no moderate channel. Fox is obviously right-wing, but they say it. The Fox just goes, hey, we're with the Republicans. This is our point of view. Obviously, you're going to disagree with us if you're not a Republican, but this is our point of view. CNN, MSNBC, super left. I mean, not even moderates, right? It'd be nice to have somebody in the middle that had like a reasonable Democrat, a reasonable Republican, you know, kind of like a 5-person round table like The View, but instead of like 1 hour, you know, or 30 minutes, it's like 2 hours of, hey, let's long talk these things out. Like a TV version of a podcast, but it's on a cable network. So, hey, we're going to do 15 minutes of talking on a topic, and then we're going to cut to commercial. Then we're going to do 15 minutes of talking on a topic, and then cut to commercial. That would make sense. That'd be cool. Or just get rid of the commercials and just have low runners. Or just have the host be like, all right, cool. In the middle of this thing, hey, by the way, this is sponsored by Pfizer or whoever the fuck. I don't care if it's sponsored by the medical people. And they just read out the ad as if it was like a YouTube video. Read it out, it's 30 seconds, and then they get right back to talking. You know? I know there's a lot of interesting things that Elon could do. You could try to improve the old legacy media, or you could just turn it up on its head and do something new. Private Potato got serious during the Gate Guard video. It's true. It's true. Your special boys step up every once in a while, and that was the point. You need more of this old crack house videos? I just made one a couple weeks ago. Might have been a month ago. It's almost done, man. It's like the next step is literally putting the furnace in. I have to buy a new fridge because the fridge doesn't fit. Not a new furnace, a new stove. You gotta put a new stove in. The fat electrician, I summon you to fulfill your oath. Annoy the crap out of AC. He's on date night, man. He was gonna join me today, but then he had to back down. I can't blame him. Mrs. Fat Electrician is a doll. She deserves her fat electrician time. Oh, your uncle liked the personal video that I made for him? Too cool. He is on the Discord right now with AC on Pepperbox Discord. Hold on. Let me go to Discord. Pepperbox. Bump. AC Pepperbox Discord. Lord. Admin. Oh, okay. Here we go. I see everybody now. Buffalo Live Show. We have our own. We have our own thing on the Buffalo Live Show. It's going to get stupid. There we go. Let's see. Bam. Gotta go down to the bottom. I don't see him on there. I see truck. All right. What were we talking about? I should do a stream with Only Cops one day. I met him before. Him and I gabbed. Here's the chair. What happened to the second crack house? The second crack house is just it's in a holding stage. It's in a holding stage. I have to get the OG crack house done first. Then I can dump money into the new crack house numero dos. Crack house junior. Oh god. Yeah, it's gonna be Airbnb for a little while. My neighbors are like, we have kids and we want them to move in next door. Is it going to be free or not free? Is it going to be open and available for our kids to move in? And I'm like, oh, that sounds really nice. But no, I've promised 1.4 million people that they can rent it out. And they're like, oh, is that going to be an issue? I'm like, no, I don't think so. I mean, it's Airbnb. If they fuck it up, then I'm just going to charge them like $10,000 to fix all the damages. X is worth 10 billion. I know that he bought it for 44. SpaceX is worth 210, I bet. Tesla's worth $1 trillion? And Elon's net worth is 314 billion. Interesting. Check Discord. I already checked Discord. I don't understand. Why? Poor dog. Crack House 2, bigger, badder, and uncut. Something. It's definitely not. It's definitely bigger. It's definitely bigger. It's a 2 unit. So there's that. Changing the setup a little bit. If you're ever in Knoxville, beers are on you. I'll take that. What tequila instead? SpaceX is priceless. What's going on with Elon Musk in that tunnel that he was that he's digging from like LA? Let's see. But it's getting there. You could literally build enough tunnels to transport something. Oh my god. They've constantly flirted with death. Boring company fined for environmental violations. That was, yeah. Building tunnels to nowhere under Los Angeles. 2017. Yeah, but like... At what, like, where is it at in its thing? Is it like getting built? Trying to figure it out. Can anybody find a decent article to like how the tunnel's going? Like his tunnel to LA? It's canceled. They canceled the tunnel. Of course, California. They pussied out. The tunnel made to avoid traffic had traffic problems, so it was canceled. Are you kidding me? Elon digging a tunnel to Gaza. Yeah, I thought that was funny too. I googled that, and it's one of the things that popped up. You know a group of people in New York that help them with the tunnels, huh? Yeah. I think we all do. Search Boring Company. Oh. Stunning video. It says it was fined in June. last. No, get out of here. Spark controversy where some workers denounced the precarious conditions of the digging work. Oh my God, just dig the tunnel. Just quit being a bunch of babies and do something great with your life. Oh, I don't know. How many people were like proud to build the Empire State Building and they didn't like piss and moan because they didn't have straps to tie them to beams? I'm not saying you got to kill yourself literally in order to build something great, but dude, be a part of something bigger. You know what? I didn't get enough overtime when I was digging the tunnel. Pussies. Where people could get from any point in the center of the big city to airport terminals in less than 10 minutes. That's cool. An initial budget of 48 million that was set to rise to more than 500 once it passed the early phases. Dude, you can't build anything in California. You can't build anything in the United States anymore because there's so much red tape. A fleet of Tesla Model 3 cars, mostly self-driving, were going to cover the routes at an average speed of 150 miles an hour. That's cool. You throw everything in the back of your car and then scoot over. That's awesome. In a statement, the Boring Company claimed the withdrawal was the result of a settlement with community groups. Of course, community groups. Fucking assholes that'll stop everything. Good Lord. Dude, there's nothing that quite pisses me off as like a city's historical... what do you call it? It's a historical society. They'll be like, oh, you can't dig up that horrible, you can't cut down that tree because that tree's 150 years old. Oh, you can't tear down that building because that was, you know, where Jesus was born. And even though it's falling apart on itself. Or, hey, you need to, here's a real thing too. There's a lot of construction companies in the city that will keep up, like prop up a singular wall. Right? Because if you completely demolish a building and then new build it, the city won't let you do it in New York. They'll be like, oh, you can't do a new build. That's higher. There's more taxes. It's a higher payment. We're going to cost a lot more. But we'll allow you to like redevelop a property. And one of like the minimum things that you can keep to redevelop a property is one wall. So they'll tear down everything in a building, just completely tear down a building except for one wall, one exterior wall. They'll hold up that 4 or 5 story wall with like a whole bunch of I-beams and shit. And then they'll build 3 other walls around it. So now you've got your 4, you got your box that you're living in. And then they like attach it to the 3 walls. And then they go, okay, cool. It's got the same exterior. Just let them build a new one. Say it, Daniel Todd. So like a train, but with extra steps? Yes. Yes. Am I going to do another screen with actual Justice Warrior, considering Rogan just had Innocence Project Goon on again? I should have AJW. I should have the actual Justice Warrior on every time that Joe Rogan does something with the Innocence Project. I should just shoot him a text and be like, hey, how retarded was this guy on this time? Just to hear what happened. Because I know that there's been a couple other people that they've let out recently, and I know that one of them was pretty bad too. Yeah, I should definitely have. You know what you should do? You should all spam Actual Justice Warriors Twitter and be like, you need to go back on Angry Cops. Maybe I can create. Can I make a post like that? Oh. Hello. Boom, there we go. What's up? Get out of my room! Told you not to bother me while I'm cleaning my room. Oh, what's up, Imperial Girl? My #1 Patreon supporter. Oh my God, is that my father? You have to leave a certain percentage of the structure so it's considered a remodel and not a new build to save money on costs and taxes. I said that. I think that's my dad. I said that, Dad. Angry Dad. Angry Pops. Jeez Louise. You're getting into the game a little too late. Should have Angry Pops on and discuss the issues of the crack house and modern construction. Oh, God. Then he can tell you all of his fantastic conspiracy theories. Did you know that Joe Biden's actually a clone? It's, oh, my God. I love him. My father is something else. I definitely get my charisma from him. It's definitely my father. All right. Hey, Dad. Oh, my gosh. Dad, we're talking about Elon buying MSNBC and how much it could potentially go for. I'm saying I think he should do it because it'd be fun to see where he goes with it. But I just don't know if he's going to do classic media stuff or if he's going to do something new and creative and kind of make it like a streaming channel, but on cable news. So, yeah, Angry Pops is on. He's in the chat right now. He's probably sitting, smoking a cigar. Unless his wife is smacking him upside the head because he's not supposed to be smoking indoors. Yes, Angry Dad needs to be in more Crack House videos. In fact, he could probably help me put together the stove and some stuff. Give him something to do besides mowing the lawn. Somebody goes, I should call my father and put him on speakerphone so everybody can hear him talk. Nobody really cares what he's gonna do. Oh my God, I care. I think it'd be cool. You know what? I should do that. I think next time I come on here, it'll be Angry Pops and Angry Cops discuss conspiracy theories. It is a fantastic idea, isn't it? I have conspiracy night with my father, and he can tell me. He's got to stick to one conspiracy though, because he spiderwebs. He spiderwebs out there, and some of them they start where you're like, okay, I can see how that could be a way of thinking as like a thought exercise, but then they like splinter off into these weird spider legs, and you're like, whoa, no, reel it back in. Reel it back in. Double the trouble, double the fun. You're absolutely right. You'd think you'd have a quality meme segment of the news channel? Oh. Your local memes brought to you by Elon Musk News on MSNBC? Yes, I think that would be outstanding. You know what? Big fun. I have thought about that. I've thought about having my father and Nick's father get together and do like a Fat Dad and Angry Pops episode and just have the pair of us just, I don't know, just talking about how life is, you know, like them growing up and doing, you know, shit in blue collar jobs, and then their sons growing up to be internet smartasses. Do I think Brandon will accept the ATF nomination if he's asked? Yes, I think Brandon would absolutely. He was running for Congress. He's already poised, I guess you could say, to go for some sort of elected position or an appointed position. And there's been a couple people on Twitter that say he's got no experience. And you're like, he's got 10 years in the firearms industry. And it's not like 10 years where he worked behind a counter and did nothing. Like, he created his own business at like 18, 19 and started creating firearms, making firearms, dealing, and then moving from state to state and dealing with the different regulations. From a business owner standpoint, I think he's extremely familiar with the limitations that the ATF has and how they don't assist. Well, one, the populace of the American, the American populace within the United States, and two, business owners. And I'll tell you what, I don't know how he's not going to hit. The ATF is not supposed to have any legislative power. They can't create laws, just like your local police can't create a law, which is one of the issues with the ATF is they determine that they'll look at a law and then they'll interpret it in a different manner, which is horse shit. So I don't think that he would do any of that, but I wonder what sort of pull he would have in order to get like the AG or state governments to start playing ball and being like, hey, you need to start, we're not going to charge anybody who goes across state lines, let's say from, specifically, we'll say Pennsylvania to New York. If they have a Pennsylvania permit, firearms permit, concealed carry permit, whatever you want to say it is, if they legally carry within Pennsylvania and then they cross the state lines into New York, they can't be arrested for violating New York state law. But like, then there's that weird thing, right? Is states are supposed to be able to have their own laws and govern themselves. But at the same time, they can't step on the Constitution, which New York State really likes doing when it comes to firearms. So, yeah. Fat and Angry Fathers. It's a good one. Make Fall Auto great again. I agree. Yeah, accepting the ATF position would be a no-lose for Brandon. Either he can't get things changed that he wants to get changed, or he changes one or two things and it's a massive win. Because otherwise, everybody else that's been in the ATF has done everything just short of stepping on your rights. You know what I mean? What's the worst that could happen? Nothing. We stay exactly where we're at the same point in time. Listen, no steps backwards, right, are good steps forwards. Quote me on that. No steps backwards are good steps forwards. Boom. Because you know what? If they're not stepping backwards, they're not stepping on our rights. And even though if they're stagnant, that means at least they're not stepping on more rights. And if he gets one real change, that's a step forward, which means we're gaining back the rights that we rightfully have. It's a win-win. Yeah, the federal government's not going to delete any records. Do I have any more info on the guy in New York that got arrested for building guns in his house? I'm not sure what you're talking about. However, when I was attached to the feds, I was working with the ATF too. My previous job as a detective was FBI Safe Streets, which is violent gang members. That's what you go after. And obviously where there's violent gang members, there's, firearms owned by felons. So then you get the ATF involved. And whenever there's weapons smuggling across, state lines, you get the ATF involved too. Things that I enjoyed working with the ATF, by the way. Hey, I got a violent gang member that's moving guns from Atlanta to Buffalo. I need your help, ATF. And they'd be like, hell yeah, brother. Bro. Loved them. Let me say that. I love the agents in the ATF for the most part that I worked with. Love the agents, right? They're not the guys that are they're doing policy. They're the guys that are doing the grunt work with, or I should say task forces within the ATF. Those guys are doing the grunt work with cops on the ground, getting guns out of the street of felons and violent criminals. That I have absolutely zero issue with. But yeah, when it comes to when I was working with the ATF, I would ask them questions like that because I know a significant amount about gun laws and the Second Amendment when it comes to laws in New York State Penal Code, right? And also like some federal statutes. It's not like my main focus, right? There's a lot of shit that you've got to know as a police officer and detective, and understanding where to find things is more important than knowing everything, because you're never going to know everything. So I would always have conversations with the ATF and be like, hey, listen, by the way, you can create your own firearms as long as you're not a felon. And they're like, yeah. And I go, when do you have to put a serial number on it? One of them is you have to put a serial number on it when you're going to sell it, if you're going to sell it, obviously. And then I forget when exactly, once you've created the firearm, there's no like date that you have to have it stamped with a serial number by. That was one of the things that I remembered asking, but I don't remember the answer to. So it depends on like if you're making all your weapons. And I know people that have like historical weapons that they've built from the ground up, piece by piece, and they've got like an armory in their house, not literally speaking, but like a whole bunch of like era correct firearms from World War I, World War II, even the Civil War, because they're collectors and they take these weapons piece by piece and they put them together. And it's really interesting. So I don't know how that person might have broken the law or why they got raided for making firearms. But if you're just creating your own firearms in your basement, nobody's going to come and raid you. And if that happens, then that's a huge overstep. However, what I would expect, or what I would suspect had happened, is that some sort of criminal incident brought the police's attention to the person that was creating firearms in their home and then raided them. And if it's creating firearms in your home and then selling them without a federal background check, then that would be an issue, right? You know, or I don't know why I was thinking straw purchase, because that's not what I'm talking about at all. Casey, tried to find you and the Merv at the game last Sunday. Such a good game. I know, dude. I was doing the live tour with the Unsub boys. Otherwise, you think I would absolutely be at that Kansas City game? Do you guys have a regional task force? We have the golf course task force in Texas. Pretty much every department imaginable in one large task force. We don't have like a singular task force. We have a lot of different ones. We've got, like Homeland Security one. We have the ATF, the DEA, FBI Safe Streets. We also have one with the feds. It's like the Anti-Terrorism Task Force, ATTF. I think that's all the ones in Buffalo. There might be more. I think there are more. But yeah, it's not so much like we don't have like a regional thing going on. It's more of each city. Do potato guns count? Sure. Yeah, fuck it. Serialize your potato guns just in case. Just in case. It's illegal in New York and blue states to build your own guns without registering them. That's... I don't think that that's true. I don't think that's true. There's a certain point where, because you don't have to register a rifle. You can build a rifle and you don't have to register it in New York. Like you can buy a lower in New York. I think the lower you need actually, so the lower you would register. You could build your own firearm and not have to register it. It's like there's a certain point in time after building it that you need to register it. I don't remember exactly when that is. Whether it's when you're making a sale, I know obviously you then have to register it because you need, in order to make the sale, you have to do the federal firearms form. The background check, universal background check thing. I don't have an FFL, so I'd have to see. That's one of those things where I've gotten the answer before, but I need to contact somebody that has an FFL or one of the guys that I work with specifically that does that stuff like fairly often in order to get the answer. And honestly, if I was to go raid somebody's house or arrest somebody, I wouldn't just do it based on something I'm not sure of. I would go get the answer and then continue the investigation. I can just imagine people in the comments now being like, you fucking bootlicker, you don't even know the laws, like you're No. I know the generalities of the law. If you're already on my radar for something else, and then I'm going to go look and see, hey, what are the other avenues and get better educated on them so I don't jack it all up. I can't keep every single law in my brain and then simultaneously pull it up in an instant. No, I need assistance. I need a Rolodex. My brain works like a Rolodex. I understand there's a vague thing, and then I know who to call to get the answer on the vague thing for my specific answer of what the incident requires. GCTF focuses mostly on violent fugitives. Oh, the U.S. Marshals. Yeah, we've got a U.S. Marshals one too. They're heavily evolved as well as the Texas Rangers. That's cool. Some 3D printing software can alert the police if you try to print gun parts. Where? Where? I don't know, man. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if that's true, but it's not like an automatic thing for everything. You had till November something to register or to get rid of it. I thought that something like that was shot down. There was a couple firearms laws that New York State was trying to put in place, and the Supreme Court shut it down like that, which is like, I don't understand. How can you be the governor of New York State and then put in unconstitutional laws knowing that they'll be struck down? That was Kathy Hochul was like one of her things. It's like, I know this isn't going to work, but I'm going to do it anyway for the people. And you're like, no. You don't get to do something because you know it's not going to work. That costs taxpayer money, because now we're going to have to fund to fucking send lawyers from New York State to go argue the fucking point in front of the Supreme Court, and you're wasting Supreme Court time with a law that you know they're going to strike down because it's unconstitutional. See, I hate shit like that. Like when politicians do intentional bullshit like that, that fucking irritates me. Stop spending my fucking money like it's your money. It's not your money. The judge in the case of the guy building the guns in his house said that the Second Amendment doesn't exist in her courtroom. Ooh, what? Oh, that's phenomenal. Good. Love that the judge said that, because now you know exactly where she stands with that shit. And when it goes to the Court of Appeals, which unfortunately they're going to have to try and appeal it, because they're going to go, the judge said that the Second Amendment in the fucking Constitution or Bill of Rights doesn't apply in her courtroom. And they're going to go, oh yeah, whoop, and they're going to throw it out immediately. And honestly, with a statement like that, if I was the guy that got arrested or got charged because of her, I'd sue the fucking shit out of the state. See, that's the thing, man. This is what happens with judges that lose their mind. All it does is cost taxpayer money. I would listen, as much as I don't want New York State getting any more of my money, I would much rather spend less money on a retarded judge and have them fired and get the fuck out of here, because they want to do political bullshit. You're a judge. You're not supposed to be political. You're supposed to follow the law. All right. Use your head, not your heart. I would much rather spend less money there and more money on the crims that I arrest. Hey, man, if you get locked up and you go to prison, sweet. I'll pay money to keep that idiot in prison. It is what it is, man. You want to live in this massive collective polite society? You're going to go to jail. And if that means I got to pay a little bit of tax money to keep your dumb ass away from my family and out of my community, okay, so be it. It is what it is. That's a tax I'm willing to pay, right? That's the point of prison. Sometimes you just got to get the turds out. Plus, the governor of New York keep on changing the Second Amendment around so much that law enforcement knows from the up down it'll go kick in New York's ass. I don't know what that means. Daniel, you redacted your message. I want to read it. These are your words. Dang. I hope you get arrested by me. You don't want to get arrested by me, my friend. I'm in the special victims unit now. If you're getting arrested by me, that means you've done a bad thing. You don't want to. That's the kind of prison time that you serve. You're in a prison within a prison there. How do I view Trump's appointments? I like the SecDef guy. I think the new AG, the female AG that was the AG for Florida, is a really good pick. It would have been interesting to see Matt Gaetz, but now we're going to see, you know, Florida's AG do some really cool stuff. Who was it? I don't know who is Secretary of State's the first female Secretary of State, right? I thought Hillary Clinton was. Or he's got the first female Secretary of something. I forget. Which is interesting. That's cool. You know what? I'd have to have them like in front of me to look at it to even think about it to say whether or not they're good or not. I don't know, because I thought that like Mad Dog Mattis was going to be good, and then not so much. What would it take for you to wax a part of your chest at the live show? Too much money. Chief of Staff? It was the Chief of Staff. Oh, that's okay. So yeah, it was the first female Chief of Staff. That's right. Hillary Clinton was the Secretary of State, but this woman is the first Chief of Staff. That's been a female. Law and Order angry SVU. Listen up, guy. Hey man, it's equal justice for everybody. He doesn't care if you're rich or poor, white or black, smart or dumb, female, male. The law is the law. You know, if you want to act up, you can get yelled at. Yeah, Imperial Girl. I think that's a good thing. I think we're gonna call it. We're gonna call. We've been going on for like an hour and 10 minutes. All right, y'all. I'm gonna try and see if I can get Dad on for a conspiracy theory. Get Angry Pops on here. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I might have to set up 2 cameras in here and have him drive over and give him a couple of beers. We'll see what we can do. Angry Pops. We'll talk about like the conspiracy theories of things. We'll try not to get too political because I don't know how that's gonna go. You know, you get an old white guy in talking about politics. You know, it's like Shane Gillis said, you don't want to grow up to be a Republican, but like one day you're like, fucking taxes. What's with all these immigrants? Oh my God. All right. Good night, weirdos. I'll see you the next time on the Angry Streams. But I hope you enjoyed yourself. See you next week.